Okay guys, it is time for a new update here on the Bitcoin price. As you already know, I opened my new long trade. As I told you in my yesterday's video, if we are actually breaking out of this falling wedge here with a confirmation, which happened perfectly as we expected it, we broke to the downside, we broke the old high point to the upside. This was the moment we opened our new long position. As you can also see here on my profile, I'm sharing it live on Levex right now. That trade you can keep here up to date with my trade live actually on my profile, or you can go here into, the exclusive content section. For me, it's the my post section, because as you can already see here, I shared the trade directly with you guys through Levex, which was amazing, by the way. I put up a Levex tutorial yesterday as well. It's in the video description down below if you want to know how you can gain access here to me sharing my trades, how you can view my trades here live, how you can gain access to over 20% in reduced fees, actually up to 100% with Levex's not resetting VIP system. But now let's talk about the charts first of all, because there's a lot of interesting things that are happening right now, because we are back at our old local high at the moment at the $44,200 level. And I can already tell you, I am actually planning to scale up this long position here potentially by the end of today, and I will let you know exactly what price level I am now keeping an eye on to decide if I want to scale up that trade or not. And I can already tell you, yes, it is the daily time frame, as already said, because if I'm waiting till the end of the day, probably I'm keeping my eye on something that is happening on the daily time frame. First of all, right now we need to be very careful, guys. I think we are very close to a next local top. This means that I expect only a correction afterwards, but then a continuation of our current bull run scenario. Nevertheless, we need to keep in mind here a little bit, and that's why this today's daily candle close will be very important. I already showed you in my last video a few bearish signs on-chain data based. As you remember, we talked, for example, about the Coinbase Pro price difference to the Binance USDT BTC price difference. If you didn't watch my last video, I highly recommend you do that, because that's a super interesting indicator that we will take a look at in the future more often. But one thing that I also realized is that for Bitcoin, the network fees are actually at a new all-time high. And this is not a great sign, because this means actually that there's huge amounts of BTC being transacted at these current price levels. And this means that these current price levels are levels where a lot of people are intending to sell. The question is, will there be enough people to buy into it? And I mean, in the past, as soon as the Bitcoin network was as suggested as it is right now, we actually saw a local top, or even actually the top of our bull market, right? We saw a top of our bull market here, we saw top of our bull market here, and this was more of a local top where we just saw a smaller correction afterwards. Nevertheless, each and every single time when the transaction fees were that high, we saw a correction afterwards. So we need to be a little bit careful here with our long trade, just because overall the scenario could also be, especially if we're not closing our daily candle here above the $44,200 level, that we are just forming an M pattern, and we need to be prepared for our next, maybe a little bit bigger correction during this new bull run that we hopefully have entered by now already. And this is why I am actually only waiting for our today's daily candle. If our daily candle closes above the $44,200 level, I will actually scale up my long position once again, because in my opinion, we will reach the $48,000 level, the 0.618, then relatively quickly. We will just wick to it, probably even on the weekly time frame. And that's why I'm keeping here an eye on the old high point on the daily time frame, because as soon as this is broken, we will definitely retest the fib. I will for sure, as soon as I scale up the trade, share it also here in my post section. I will do another post where I'm just sharing the scale up order, and then you can just view on my profile here on Levex my trade live, and you can see how big the size is then, and what I'm doing, where my stop loss and take profit is, and that kind of stuff. But now, guys, first of all, we also want to mention here, Levex, by the way, guys, if you go to their Twitter, it's just Levex_official. They actually have a Twitter giveaway running right now. I forgot to mention that actually in my yesterday's video, and it's only running till January 1st, 2024. So make use of it. They're giving away 100 times $50 in cash and a $1,000 free long position. So there's 100 times a $1,000 free long short position available for you to secure here right now on Twitter. And since Levex is relatively new to the market, actually, that's why they are also very much looking for feedback from you guys. Just put it in the live chat for sure. Yeah, I think you have a great chance of winning, so I just wanted to mention that, so you're not missing out maybe on a free long short position here. But now, guys, What should we now keep an eye on? I already told you the $44,200 level. There is not much more I can say at the current moment. I mean, for sure, if we close the daily candle today below the 44,200, if we break with a 4-hourly candle below the $34,600 level, it will get very dangerous. The likelihood of my trade then actually being liquidated, or not liquidated, but stopped out, is relatively high. So just keep an eye on the charts, guys. You can follow my trade, but I will keep it open for the remaining time. Now I have this margin secured from our last short trade, as you know, that I put into this long position. So I'm fully willing to also risk that capital. And with my risk reward ratio being very, very nice here in this trade, I will keep that trade open for sure. But now, guys, as said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, activate the bell, and we are going to see us actually in the next one. I hope so, at least. Until then, guys, see you.